The book I would like to show you today is this book by Alessio De Santis, a FIDE master, Italian FIDE master, if I remember well, that has played this system, the Hippopotamus Defence, all his life. Now, it doesn't mean that it's only main opening, but is one of his pet openings, which means he has used it throughout his life. What is the Hippopotamus Defence? The Hippopotamus Defence, here I show you this system that is made by Black, where you have most of your pawn on the third rank, or the sixth rank, obviously. The book, it's really good, but I think this book was first printed in Italian by Le Due Torri, and I think I have seen it. It was beautiful because it was colorful, he had a lot of stuff. For example, all the diagrams probably were with black from the black side, so on the bottom. I don't remember honestly very well, but I think they had that. And in this book you can see in every chapter he starts giving you very important points of that opening or move order, and there are a lot of games as example games, and of course it teaches you everything, ossia the introduction to the Hippopotamus system, how you have to play it, what is the right move order, what you have to pay attention to. Look, it's something you should learn for your own leisure and for becoming a better chess player. Now, independently from the fact that you can score points or not, is something I think you should learn, okay? And I think I want to learn it too, because in this way you always have a kind of a repertoire, opening repertoire, that can keep your opponents on their toes. Why is that important? Because today we play much more than in the past in tournaments. And so we do need to have an opening repertoire that is more varied, that has a lot of different options. I also collected some games on the Hippopotamus using ChessBase, and so I will also show you those games. For the moment, I would like to show you Chapter 2, the game that I think is number 1. It's practically a blitz game between Magnus Carlsen and Gata Kamsky. Can you imagine? Magnus Carlsen and Gata Kamsky. So let me put the pieces back. Okay, so this game was played in Moscow, and it was a World Championship Blitz in 2007. Blitz and Rapid Play are the formats favored by GMs to try out the Hippopotamus. So Carlsen started with E4, G6. Now Kamsky is well known that he was a top world player. Year 2007, Carlsen was probably going to the top, was still young, but it was going to be a top player. Bishop G7, Knight C3, B6. Now the funny thing is to think that probably from 2007 up to today, 2024, 2025, Carlsen has probably played more than 15,000 games online in Blitz. So it's clearly crazy the amount of games that have passed through this game and who Carlsen is now. Bishop E3 and Bishop B7. Here it says the double fianchetto is one way to set up the Hippopotamus. Quindi 2, E6. h4. This is h4. It's kind of very interesting because immediately it's trying to tell black, hey, I'm going to play this, what are you going to do? And I think here is when you have to pay attention, also if it doesn't say it here, because obviously you don't want but you don't have a possible answer here. So black played h6, f3, d6. As we can see, it's creating the formation that we saw in the beginning. Long castle. White chooses the center with f3, especially recommended against the hippopotamus. In addition, he prepares for a kingside attack, assuming that black castle on that side. But this is the problem, that white has told black where he is, but black still didn't tell him, so it's not said that he's going to castle on the king side. Knight d7, g4, and here there is a diagram and it says the king side attack begins. The idea is to manage somehow to break up the black pawns. a6, bishop d3, b5, black reacts. Knight g e2 and b4. He speeds up play on the queen side so as not to give white time to carry out the attack. Knight a4, a5, b3, knight e7. The hippopotamus is completed. Only some expansion moves have been played early. So this is the pawn formation that we would like to achieve and the piece formation that we want to achieve in our games. So please pay attention to this, because this is a system. So it doesn't really matter what your opponent plays, you continue to play the same move, okay? Okay, here it says the opening phase is now over. Black could have played it in a few seconds given that he has made only standard moves. White seems to have it all under control, and yet, after his next move, everything falls in on him like a house of cards. So what is White's next move? Obviously, White tries to bring his pawn forward in order to create some pawn break, right? So he plays f4, but this is not good, it seems. It's weak. A highly extended center is not necessarily strong, but you do need to be in a position to attack it. The hippopotamus is deceptive because your pieces are kept back, but in fact they can rapidly advance in any direction. So what did black play now? Try to guess. That's a good thing. Knight f6. And here it says the e4 and g4 pawns are weak. Bishop b5, king f8. Wow, black gives up on castling as usual in the hippopotamus. Wow. Knight g3, knight takes e4. Black has a winning advantage. Wow. Okay, for example, here I don't really know, right, why black has a winning advantage. So I believe that maybe the writer put the winning advantage because the computer told him. But can you, as white or black, say that now black has won the game? I don't know. Knight takes c4, bishop takes e4, rook h e1, h5, and here there is another mistake by Carson, and Carson played f5. He sacrifices a second pawn free of charge, hoping that the opening of lines might, in a blitz game, give him some chances. Let's see what happens. G takes f5, G takes f5, Bishop takes f5. Yeah, at this point black has 2 pawn advantage. Bishop g5, f6, bishop f4, knight d5. And now there is a huge mistake by white. Okay? Why there is a huge mistake? Because he plays bishop c4. So, what do you think black did? Okay, this is a blitz game. Honestly, I think it can happen to everyone, right? Black played knight takes f4. Why he takes knight takes f4? For the simple reason that you cannot play queen takes f4. Because if you play queen takes f4, there is bishop h6 and you are in a skewer. Here is your queen and here is your king. So the game is over, right? So at this point white played king b1, right? And after queen b1, obviously bishop h6, rook f1, knight d5, queen e1, knight e3. I mean, this knight has made more damage than everything else, probably. Rook takes f5, e takes f5. Again, it's bad, and the situation is bad. Bishop e6, knight takes d1, queen takes d1, queen e8, d5, queen g6, queen d4, king g7, a3, opla, and queen g4. Okay, very interesting. So it doesn't care about here, he cares to create a pass pawn on the king side that cannot be stopped. Obviously, at this point, would you play queen takes g4? No, you would never play that, because if you play that, the game is over, right? Why the game is over? Because black has 2 pawns advantage, right? 2, 4, 6, 7. White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so he has 2 pawns advantage. You exchange the queens. How do you stop 2 pawns, right? Instead, with a queen on the game, it's definitely a little easier, right? To try to create problems to the opponent, and so to try to win the game or create a drawish or drawing chances. Queen d3, rook h e8, queen b5, rook e7, queen c6, and rook b8. And here white resign, and it says an incredibly easy win against the future world champion. And the author says, in my experience, playing the hippopotamus in rapid games is worth an advantage of 100 ELO points in practice. Well, that is true if your opponent is not using an engine, because in that case it doesn't matter. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game from this book by Alessio De Santis. I have many more games that I would like to show you, so leave me some feedback and I will work on other videos with the Hippopotamus Defence. Thank you very much for watching.